Welcome. In this demo, I am going to focus on based object relationships. Now, in terms of where we are now, we are focusing on the based object again. And remember, I've said it's a complex object. Not only is it just the entity, but it has a lot of supporting tables. Now we're going to go inside of it and configure the based object. So let me go ahead and open up the hub. I have already logged into the TRN lab, which is the ORS that we've been using to do our demos. And notice this is my data model. I have 4 entities: customer, address, an intersection table, address type, and then a table address type. Why? Because a customer can have more than one address. An address can be either a billing address or a ship to address. Now, the only thing missing now in this diagram is the links, the relationships. So let me go to Schema Viewer, and a word on relationships. It works from the child to the parent. So we know that address is the child of customer. So I select address. And notice how there's complexity in the based object. I have columns, cross-reference history. Right now, I'm going to go to relationships. And on the right-hand side, you see the existing relationships in table format. You can also see them in diagram format. And the relationships that exist right now, it tells me there's a total of 3. And all 3 at the moment are system relationships. Notice I can tell their system because it's address, which is my based object, a consolidation flag or a last row system, which are columns that are system generated, associated to the master reference manager table, consolidation, etc. So it's from my based object, system columns, to the system ORS, its columns. So I'm going to right mouse click. Oops, notice you have to acquire a lock, otherwise you cannot modify it. I just acquired a lock, and this should be very straightforward. Address, which column is the foreign key? Customer row ID. Which is the parent? Customer row ID object. Click. That's it. The relationship is created, and if I'm correct, it's the top one here. If I go to diagrams, you'll see it that address is related to customer. Let me go back to properties, and I'm pretty much done. But there's one little thing we can do to make it easier for people, the end users, the data stewards, other people seeing the data. When we get data from a customer and address, notice that if I scroll down, the display, the lookup display name is row ID object. So I would show ID 55, 66. That doesn't really help a user of the data. So what I can do is edit and select a more meaningful display column. In this case, which one? Last name would be good, but why not full name? That might be good to show that Joe Smith has an address and is a customer. So merely select it, and there it is. And now we save this. And now we're done with the address. Now, what's the next based object? Let me go to Schema Viewer. Notice I see the relationship. If you don't see this, then it might just be a question of refreshing the Schema Viewer. So you can go to Schema, refresh, and it will refresh it, just in case you don't see it automatically displayed. Let me go back to Schema. Now, we need to work on the address type, which is our intersection table. It is related to the address and to the address type. So the address type, and now I'm going to go to relationships. Again, there's already some system relationships. What I want to do is add 2. The intersection table address type is related to the address type table. So I will select the address type row ID foreign key to the address type primary key, select it, and here it is in the top. And now again, why not display a better friendly display? Which one would be better? Display the address type code or description? Description. I think most end users seeing the data would understand the description better. Click, and now it's save. We have one more to go. In the same based object, we have to add one more relationship. Notice that the only available is the address type. Select the foreign key, and this is going to be related to address. And we select it. Again, same thing as before. The address type is, where's my relationship? Here it is, this one here now. So address type, related to address. And again, pretty much done, but why not display a meaningful field name, such as address line 1, the address. At this moment, I believe I'm pretty much done. Let's go to Schema Viewer. Notice it did not refresh, so I will merely refresh it. And here's our data model, totally complete. Now, some of you will question and ask, why is there a subcategory row ID in customer? Well, I should delete it, right? This is a foreign key to a primary key. To what? I don't have another entity above customer. Now, ideally, what you could have is a customer category so that we can distinguish between a customer human being and a customer, a corporation. If you read your lab requirements, that's where it's guiding you. But for simplicity's sake, I did not add another parent object. So the subcategory ID for us is not going to have any meaning. We're done, and that concludes the relationships and how we create those in the MDM hub. Thank you.